If your job search feels stuck, I want you to look at one part of your process today. LinkedIn headline plus about section that converts. A lot of job seekers are working hard, they're applying, they're updating documents, they're trying to stay encouraged, but the results are not matching the effort. Hey, my workplace warriors. Welcome back to HR by Nnamtique. I'm Cynthia, and I help job seekers use a clearer, smarter, more practical job search strategy. So, today we're talking about your LinkedIn headline and about that converts. And I want to make this simple. This is not about being perfect. It's not about sounding fancy. It is about making your value easier to understand for the person who is reading, screening, or interviewing you. Here's the promise for today. You'll understand why LinkedIn profiles sound like job descriptions instead of clear value stories. And you'll walk away with a practical way to fix it using headline plus about visibility formula. So why does this problem hurt your search? The first thing to understand is that employers are not reading your materials like a biography. They're reading them like a match test. They're asking, does this person understand the role? Can this person solve the problems we have? Does this person have proof? Can I quickly see why this candidate belongs in this process? That is why LinkedIn headline plus about that converts matters. When your message is unclear, the reader has to do extra work. And in a busy hiring process, extra work for the person who's reading your resume normally means that your application will be skipped. This can happen to people in every field. A cybersecurity analyst may have strong process skills, but hide them under vague language. An accountant may know how to manage complex operations, but describe the work like routine administration. A nurse leader may have valuable project experience, but never connected to timeliness, budgets, or timelines, budgets, quality, safety, customer service, or business results. The problem is not always your experience. Sometimes the problem is how your experience is being framed. So let's look at a common mistake that is trying to sound broad so more employers will be interested. And many of us are guilty of that. I understand why people do that. When you're nervous, it feels safer to say, I can do a lot of things. I'm open. I'm flexible. I just need someone to give me a chance. But broad is not always helpful. Broad can look unfocused. Broad can make a recruiter wonder what role you actually want. Broad can make your best strengths disappear because everything is competing for attention. So here's the shift. Do not try to make one message fit every possible job. Build the message around the role you are pursuing this week. If you're targeting marketing coordinator roles, your materials should show the skills, tools, problems, and outcomes connected to that lane. If you're targeting compliance analyst roles, the proof should be different. If you're targeting business development specialist roles, the examples should show the kind of value that audience understands. That does not mean that you're changing who you are. It means you're choosing which part of your experience to bring forward. So, what does good positioning look like? Well, good positioning is clear. It tells the reader three things quickly. First, it tells them what kind of work you're aiming for. Second, it tells them that you have done related work before. That proof does not always need to be a big number. Sometimes proof is scope. Sometimes it is volume. Sometimes it is risk level. Sometimes it is the type of stakeholder you supported. Sometimes it is the complexity of the environment. For example, instead of saying supported daily operations, a stronger statement might say supported daily operations across a multi site service team by tracking requests, coordinating deadlines, and improving follow up communication. Do you hear the difference? The second version gives the reader something to hold on to. It tells them the environment, the action, and the value. Next, the headline plus visibility about visibility formula. Let me give you a simple way to work through this part. I call it the headline plus about visibility formula. Step one, choose one target role for this content piece. Not five, not 10. Did you hear me? One. Step two, collect 3 job postings for that same type of role. They should be similar enough that the same resume or profile would make sense for all three. Step three, highlight the words and responsibilities that repeat. Look for patterns, not random phrases. Pay attention to skills, tools, outcomes, customer groups, systems, and problems. Then, step four, compare the patterns to your experience. Ask yourself, where have I done something similar? Where have I solved a related problem? Where have I worked with a similar stakeholder group? Where have I improved speed, quality, accuracy, compliance, cost, service, revenue, safety, or communication? Step five, rewrite the content so the match is obvious. This is where many job seekers stop too early. They identify the right words, but they do not connect those words to proof. That is why the proof matters. So, I'm going to give you a quick example and let us use a simple one. A job posting asks for someone who can manage competing priorities, coordinate stakeholders, track deliverables, and improve workflow. A weak version says responsible for coordinating department projects. A stronger version says coordinated cross functional project tasks, tracked timeliness, followed up with stakeholders, and improved visibility into delays so the team could respond sooner. That version is stronger because it shows action and value. It does not just say you were responsible, it shows what you did and why it mattered and the impact you had on the process. The same idea works across industries. Let's look at that cybersecurity analyst. He or she can show cost, process, vendor, and timing impact. An accountant can show patient flow, compliance, scheduling, and service outcomes. A nurse leader can show timeline control, team coordination, safety, quality, and resource use. Field may change, but the principle stays the same and it makes the value visible. So let's do a little self-audit. And here it is for you to use this week. Ask yourself 4 questions. Question 1. Can a stranger understand my target role in 10 seconds? Question 2. Can a recruiter see proof that I fit this role? Question 3. Am I using role language naturally, or am I forcing keywords where they don't even belong? And then last but not least, question 4. Did I remove details that distract from the role I want now? The last question is very important because sometimes the problem is not that your content is missing information. Sometimes the problem is that it has too much unrelated information within it. You do not need to bring every job, every task, every skill in front of to the front of the conversation. Lead with what matters most for the role you're pursuing. Then remember, I was there right where you were. That's what made me develop the systems and resources that I've developed to help job seekers live their very best life. I know it can feel like a lot, especially if you have been applying to jobs for a while and not hearing back from employers. But I want you to remember this. Silence from employers does not automatically mean you're unqualified. Sometimes it means your value is not clear enough yet. And understand that word yet. That's something you can fix. You can tighten the message. You can choose a clearer target. You can bring better proof forward. You can stop making the reader guess. And when you do that, your materials start working harder for you. So, in the 20-minute field test, hopefully you'll experience some enlightening moments that you can use this advice here in today's content to easily fix. So, I appreciate you being here. If you've gotten value from this content, please make sure and give me a like to let the algorithm know that this is great information that other job seekers like you can use, and share it with your network. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to my channel and clicking on the notification bell so that you can be amongst the first to know when I drop new content. Um, and if you want help comparing your materials to a job posting, use the HRBN Profile Visibility and Branding Coach. It'll help you look at the role, identify what matters, and tighten your positioning. And if you want deeper support with your full job search strategy, Career Search RX can help you build the structure, confidence, and accountability to move forward. And before you go, tell me in the comments what part of your job search needs the most clarity right now. Is it your target role, your resume, your LinkedIn profile, your interview stories, or your follow up system? So, again, thanks for watching. I look forward to hearing from you. Remember, your experience has value, and your job is to make that value clear enough for the right opportunity to recognize it. See you in the next video.